Should the books be voiding the bets? Hell no! Hey, the books are gonna do. I'm with you, dude. I'm not gonna tell the books what to do. What are you kidding me? Who am I to tell the books what to do? I'm nobody. I'm just gonna let the books do what they do.
All right, man. Thanks for coming back for episode 5. We missed you whole week. We were gonna do an episode last week. Your car broke down. It's in the shop this week. I came picked you up in my new car.
Tesla.
What did you think about it?
Oh, well, first off, damn, you're right. My car was fucked up, but getting in your Tesla today was probably the best experience. Up until the wipers started.
The wipers.
The wipers started fucking up. So for you Tesla owners, if you use autopilot, there might be a glitch that causes your wipers to go back and forth uncontrollably.
Yeah.
You know? And they're working on it, by the way. I'm told. Hey, the people at Starlink.
We'll find out.
The people at Starlink, they're on it right now, and they're fixing the glitch.
We'll find out. We'll definitely find out. It's really weird. The windshield wiper kept turning on every time I turned on autopilot. Which then I can't really show you autopilot, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of everything. But yeah, I mean,
my tush was warm and it was cold outside. That's all I gotta say.
I thought it was
very
funny.
Pleasant experience.
On the way here, you're telling me you don't trust the car because the windshield wipers won't even go off. Right?
Precisely.
That's kind of nuts.
It's like you're gonna trust the car to drive you, and the windshield wipers are going ballistic right now. If they can't get windshield wipers right.
We need that fixed, Tesla. What's going on? Brand new. Why is my windshield wipers turning on autopilot? Makes no sense. But we're here, and so we missed a week. It is what it is. We tried getting Nick on again. We had some audio issues. More actually, this time wasn't even audio. It was video issues, and we completely blew that opportunity to have Nick on again. It is what it is. We'll try to get him on if we can. If we ever get the audio and video fixed, hopefully I think we got audio and video here. So I think we're pretty good as I'm looking at the feed. So let's get right into it, man. I have something to get off my chest that I've been looking at on Twitter. And it's all these voided bets or discussion of voided bets. So on Christmas, Devin Booker for the Suns, he got injured. Or he went out. He played like the first 3 minutes or whatever the hell it was, right? And immediately, everyone's bets were all screwed up because Booker was probably part of their handicap. Or if you had, some prop bets or whatever. Actually, I seen some people have some real heavy money on the prop bet for Devin Booker. And were really heavily calling for voiding Devin Booker, which was calling for people to have kind of this void Devin Booker hashtag on Christmas. And it goes back to something that we stressed on 2 weeks ago when we had players that were getting hurt or injured or sick, like in Anthony Davis's case, and go out the game immediately. And from that point on, it just kind of screws your whole handicap up. It's continuing. We're seeing this like big trend among social media calling for more voids. The books have kind of, they've kind of done a couple voids, but then they haven't. They've picked and they have really definitely pick and chosen which ones that they want to have voided. And so we're going to talk about it more here. I honestly, dude, I hate the voided bets. And I'm going to just tell you like this. Okay, I said last time, I'm happy that people got their money back. The hell with it. The hell with it. You made the bet, right? You lost, okay? You deserve no money back. And it's final. I mean, no, because it happened once, and I think everyone was like, yeah, that's a good idea. I think we should do it some more. And then you know what happens? The next time it happens, you get more and more people who want their money back. Now, I'm not advocating for the books, but I'm gonna tell you right now, the last thing we need in the betting space is a lot of people crying about their bets. It's like, just move on. I'm serious, because it's like, that could really harm a person making bets if they're, thinking. I told you when I made the Anthony Davis bet, I was like really pissed about it it really like caused me to like have some kind of animosity toward betting. I'm like, why am I gonna bet when these people, who knows what's gonna happen, right? Like, why should I even bet? So it's kind of, puts you in a different mood. So I'm kind of on the fence now. I'm not even on the fence. I'm on the other side of the fence. I don't want people to get their money back if something happens. Now I've seen people, they want it within the first quarter, within the first few minutes, or the first drive of a football game. If something happens to a player, there was a football player, Taylor. He got hurt at the beginning of Indianapolis game. People were calling for his bets to be voided too. So I brought it up to you prior to us doing this. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Man, fill me in. Like, I'm telling you that it's happening more. What do you think about it?
Well, first off, thank you for having me again on another episode. This is something I believe in. I believe in what we're doing.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. There will be better days. Now, with respect to prop betting, in a previous episode, I kind of explained my position on it. I don't really go too hard on the player props because of the volatility. For instance, I actually don't know the opening lines on this, but yesterday we all saw there was a hit on Ashton Dulin. So for those who don't know, there was a pretty vicious hit on a wide receiver named Ashton Dulin, and he plays for the Indianapolis Colts. And there was a safety named Derwin James. Now, I don't actually know if this guy's a dirty player. I don't know his history in the league, but I was actually watching the game, just so happened to be watching the game at that very moment. I saw the hit. I thought it was a little dirty. It's to the side of the face. It was right underneath his helmet, underneath his chin. You could really hurt somebody. Like, people have families, people have careers to think about, and that was just a vicious hit. Now, with respect to prop betting, imagine if you had one of those two players involved. Like that has huge implications. You see where I'm going with this already.
Imagine you have a Derwin James tackle prop.
Exactly where I was going with this. You already know.
Well, what's the point though?
So what to do in those situations?
Are you saying don't bet props? I mean, come on.
I'm not saying not to bet them, because honestly, depending on the price, there's some pretty attractive player props. Everything at the end of the day is going to be a gamble. There is some sort of risk involved, but there's something called calculated risk. And when I wake up every day, that's what I believe in taking, calculated risk.
Yeah, but should the books be voiding these bets?
Should the books be voiding these bets? Hell no! Hey, the books are gonna do. I'm with you, dude. I'm not gonna tell the books what to do. What, are you kidding me? Who am I to tell the books what to do? I'm nobody. I'm just gonna let the books do what they do. I'm just going to sit back and watch. I'm gonna observe what they do, and instead of reacting, I will try to be proactive, and maybe make some better decisions going forward. I know this week was not a good week for the Discord, right? We didn't want to really. Well, I didn't really want to talk about it.
You went 0-2.
We're going to talk about it.
I went 1-1.
I did go 0-2. That is correct.
Yeah. What did you have?
All right. So I did have a couple bets this week in the Discord. One was could be found in the future chat. One could be found in the live chat. And what my thought process going into it, so I met a guy. So this should have been in the bar bet section. So that's probably where I messed up. Should have been in the bar bet section, right?
There's a reason why we have bar bet
I was
section.
eating, though. I actually wasn't drinking until after I had placed the wager. He had me sold. So here's a salesman, right? So I don't know this guy. At a local establishment, one of my favorites. I jokingly said, we're going back and forth talking about sports action that's going on because there's a lot of TVs going on. And I said, Bills minus 28. And he looked at me serious. And when I say serious, he's serious. Nah. Bear down.
Sir?
No, I'm serious. sir? No, like dead. So I let him explain a little bit, and I asked why he felt that way. He said, and I quote, anonymous, because he's gonna be. I'm not putting people out there who I don't know. You know, they may not handicap. He said the Bears will be down big in the first half. They will get a lot of garbage time in the second half. Garbage time TDs. And I bought in. I bought into that, to what he was saying. He did bring up some very key points. And again, he had me sold. But the reality is this. For those who are interested, the Bears actually are not a very good second half team.
So wait, you listen. You were in a bar.
Okay.
And some random guy was like, "Hey, this is something that you should do," and then you did it.
Correct.
That is a bar bet if I ever heard one.
But he did have good credentials, I will say. The people he knew, and then when he articulated his points, and again, I'm not him, so it's really hard for me to recreate what he was trying to sell me on. I just knew I was sold, and it's the Bears, and I bear down, and they're my team. But the Bears actually rank, if you're interested, they rank in the second half 25th in the NFL at 9.4 points per game. Not good.
For the record, you have never taken any of my picks, have you?
No, incorrect. I've taken many picks.
But you take some strangers in the bars pick.
I wouldn't say that. He actually had a lean. He hadn't betted himself. So he actually didn't know. I felt like at the time he was a novice. My lean was Bills coming in. And to be honest, if you look at the first half, the Bears fought. So that's something to look at too. Spots. So if anyone's interested, the Bears are actually a pretty decent first half team. They rank middle of the pack at 16th, 10.8 points per game. So if I had done my research, is the point of this whole spiel here. If I had believed in myself and gone with my initial lean, and then furthermore looked at the data, I am pretty sure that particular pick would have resulted. I would have went the other way. I don't like to speak in hindsight, but I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn for the next pick.
I actually like that Bears halftime for next week.
Really?
Yeah, for next week. No, like you made a good point because that's actually something they've been doing. They've been coming out strong to the point where they're not losing, but they're not winning big. So if you can get, points on a spread for halftime, I've been noticing that, as soon as the second half hits, they've been getting killed because their defense just kind of like gives up. Not gives up, but wears out, gets thin. It might be something to look at, honestly. Second half next week. I think that might be something. What was your game?
I'll definitely look into that one though. Bears will have some additional people out on defense, out for the year. But the other one that I lost on was also the same. It was at the same time actually. But this one was my.
So this guy gave you 2 picks.
So first off, I want to say,
and that's what you're putting into the Discord.
Wait, no, absolutely not. So at the time, I had actually made the Suns pick in my head first. I had been watching that Phoenix Suns game.
So yeah, what was the pick?
Okay, let's get into that. Let me pull that up real fast.
You went 0-2, right?
I did go 0-2 officially. Let's see, that would have been the same day in the Discord. So I'm going to pull up the Discord, and it says live chat 12:23. So let's go back to 12:23 Phoenix Suns.
You don't know what you bet?
I do know what I bet, but I always like to pull the game up for reference. Okay.
All right.
So this was the Phoenix Suns game where starting off, the Memphis Grizzlies were putting their foot on the throat.
Was it a live bet?
It was a live bet, and it was put in the live bet section.
So Memphis was
winning? I just was trying to give you an idea of my thought process, and this helps. So there's a synopsis here of the first quarter.
Wait. Is this Christmas Day? It is.
It is not.
No?
It was December 23rd, which would
Oh,
have
okay.
been...
It was before Christmas. It was before the Devin Booker game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
2 days. Yep. So this is December 23rd. So I'm at this establishment. This is my first pick of the day. And I'm watching this game in the first quarter. And it looks like, man, the Memphis Grizzlies are asserting their dominance. However, I was already leaning Suns coming in. There were some other things that I saw in game with the line movement that had me leaning Suns already. I felt like it was a situation where both my lean and my intelligence on the game was already incorrect. So in sports betting, you're either going to be completely right or completely wrong. And
That is true.
And now I don't give advice, but I will say this. You have to believe in yourself no matter what. Because what will happen is if you try to, and this is where I think wise guys come in, is they try to find a middle ground, a place where they feel comfortable, where they can expose the books. You're not exposing anybody, man. If you feel strong in your lean, go with your lean. How many times have I been with you at your house, or I gave you a good initial lean and I didn't play it and it went and it wins? And
So your lean was Suns.
what's that?
Your lean was Suns.
My lean was Suns coming in, which was obviously an incorrect lean.
So you took Suns live
I
game?
thought there would be more scoring because the Suns would be forced to come back. So here's what I thought.
Oh,
I
you
saw
took
the Memphis.
over.
I took an over. And you know me. Hey, do I take a lot of overs?
It took a lot out of you, and I couldn't figure where you were going with that.
I don't take a lot of overs. True or not true? You know me. Do you know me as an over guy?
You like the over corners and you like the overs, yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you're a big over guy, man.
I'm a big over guy.
Yeah.
Well, I do like comfort like everyone else.
Like
and
action.
sometimes I try to look at what is the maximum probability, take it at the apex, click, and move on.
So you were just a live bet. You wanted some action.
It was a live bet. I did want some action. I did feel the Phoenix Suns would come back right away. And just given the way they were getting trounced at home, it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
It just felt like there was a timeout. When I placed the bet, there was a timeout. And it was a long timeout. One where I could think it out, and I hadn't even had a drink yet. I was like literally just thinking it out in my head. The Suns are going to score. They're going to score at will. And so are the Grizzlies. It just felt like a slugfest. And just for the record, this was a high-scoring affair. So it wasn't like this was a 225-point affair. So it ended up being a high-scoring game.
But not at your number.
Not at my number, and I didn't guess the correct quarter.
Now, okay.
Quarters are hard. You know that. They're
All right, so
harder than halves or full game.
the first game you described as being kind of a random out. You know, you were in a bar. Some guy told you this is. You
Actually,
wanted
both.
Yeah, both were kind of random, right? You didn't put a lot on these games. You don't gotta tell me, but you didn't put a lot on these games, did you?
No, absolutely not.
None of those type of decisions. I've seen you put a lot. I've seen you put a lot of money on random crap, and I've seen you put a lot of money on
someone who
non-random
looks
stuff.
like me.
Most times when you put a lot of money on random stuff, like it's when like you're really drunk at the bar, which you just described what happened. But you know, I've seen you be really drunk at the bar and not put a lot of money on it. So you didn't, right? No.
No, this wasn't a situation. So, like I said, I think the situation didn't involve inebriation at all on any level. It really had to do with decision making and going that extra step. So I had just gotten off of work, and I was trying to just eat. So I'd ordered a meal. I wasn't really trying to go in depth. I really was just. I felt like my intelligence pregame was good enough. But if you just go the extra step, and if you just want to do a little bit more research, you can actually make it very profitable. And that's actually how I limit my losses. So if I know part of my betting system is if I did a lot of research and how I feel about it. So if I did a lot of research, I feel really good about it. I don't go crazy. I don't go betting the car and the house and my microwave oven. You know,
how else are you gonna get a Tesla?
How else are you gonna get a Tesla?
All right. How are you gonna do that if you don't do that?
Exactly. So I don't go that far. So what I do is it's always a calculated risk. So 5%. Like if that's all you're going on each decision, and you trust the process of your decision making, what'll end up happening is you're going to end up having a surplus bankroll. You're going to end up having a situation where you might have a little extra money and maybe you can get the little extra things that you were trying to get. So I guess that's where I was going with that pup.
You know, so I got a couple of picks. I went 1-1. And my first pick that I'll talk about actually came out of fantasy football. And how did you do in fantasy football?
Oh, you're hitting me with the zingers today. I love it.
How'd you do?
First off, I want to state this is a family league, okay?
It's a pretty competitive family league, right?
Oh, it's it's the best league actually probably
14
on
people.
The planet. It is 14 people, family and friends for a very long time. Yeah. We have mothers, grandmothers, wives, like cousins, friends.
People who don't even know football.
Winsler.
Yeah. People who don't even know football.
Shout out.
There's a guy in the league who doesn't even have a phone.
And he beat me.
And he changes his lineup on the computer. He doesn't even have a phone. So you went 14th, right?
Okay, so I just want to be clear for the record. I placed last, dead last. No, wait. For 2 years in a row. True or not true?
That's true.
That is true.
That's really hard to do.
It is hard to do. It is
last. You're so lucky we don't have like something that you have to do for coming to last place, you know? But anyways, hey, so I got my pick out of fantasy football because I had been paying attention to the Packers because I have Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard got steamrolled a couple weeks ago. He allowed a pick, and clearly after that, Rodgers wasn't throwing to him anymore. In that game, Romeo Doubs had his best game of the year. He came back from injury, and he was being clearly targeted from Rodgers. So this next game, we had a situation where I played him in fantasy too. That's how much I felt about him. But he was getting 28.5 yards, which was like really scary to be quite honest, because I thought, man, this guy just got like 50-some yards the game before, and I can call these type of situations. I did it with Pickens, and I thought 28.5 yards. I thought, man, the book is really wanting you to bet this. I mean, come on, that's like 2 catches for this guy, right? And surely enough, like I thought about it. 20. Like I wanted the bet to be somewhere around like 36 and a half, 37, because then. At that situation, I feel the book is telling me more of like, hey, we want you to go, you know, we're laying out so many points that we don't think that you're going to bet it. Or in this situation, at 28.5, I thought it was too few points. It was a short line. And I tell you, I think I can always pick out a short line. Well, in this situation, it actually happened to be a short line. But Christian Watson got hurt. So when a guy gets hurt, Romeo Doubs steps up, gets over the total. So it was kind of, I had the wrong side, right? I was on the wrong side, but the wrong side still won, okay? And that was, you know, that's just the way things have been. So like, and I had a little bit of dough on that one, and on the next game, which was yesterday actually. I was at the book, you know, I was collecting my money, right? And so I did a quick read, what I call, right? Quick read. I looked at some numbers. I probably spent like maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes with the game. I hit up Chicago first quarter -2. Actually, the best bet would have been because they were playing the Rockets, was the Rockets money line, the Rockets +7, and I was seriously considering it. and I thought that the Bulls were still going to win first quarter, but the Rockets were going to cover. And I was at the book, I was like, you know what? Let me make a first quarter bet, and if the Bulls are winning, I'll get a better number on the Rockets. Man, the Rockets came out, smashed the Bulls. I lost my bet. Never got to place my bet on the Rockets. So even though I lost my one bet, I feel like I lost two bets because I really had the Rockets at +7, but I was hoping to get that first quarter Bulls, get a better number, right then and there. So my plan didn't work. So like I've had kind of a tumultuous betting, really honestly. Okay, so we've had a Discord up for like months now. I'd say at least 9 months, right? We've had months where we've put out tons of bets. I mean, going 21, 22, and like 3, 20, 20, going literally like 25 out of 30. We've gone like crazy stretches. Well, in the past like month or two, especially ever since we started doing the podcast, we've really cut down our bets. I think it's really, I know there's a point where we're trying to be a little bit too perfect because we know we're going to talk about it. But at the same time, like I really subscribe to the fact that you don't want to lose. And I think just these past couple of months, I've tried to really perfect that. And I think in the next month, we're going to have more bets and it's going to be even better. I think, getting 21 out of 24 or 25 out of 30, whatever the hell it was, multiple times, that was with baseball. That was a lot of good stuff out of baseball. We had basketball last year too, which was like really good. Basketball this year seems to be a little crazy, a little up and down from what I'm seeing, which is there's times that I really want to jump into stuff and then I don't jump into it. And then I look back and I'm like, whoa, and I'm so happy. Like, not betting games is more times is winning games, because when you're not betting losers, you're winning. I mean, for every unit lost, right, you have to gain a unit back. In order to gain a unit back, you have to win. So it's getting better with the bets. Like, I want to open it up a little bit more, but I don't want to stress it. We got the holidays over now. January is going to be a really great month for basketball. I'm really anticipating to do 4-0 every week, really 4-5, 5-0 every week. We've done it. I've done it. It could be done. So, and then I'm in fantasy. Right now, I'm in the playoffs. We got a lot of money on the line. That's good. And as soon as fantasy kind of wraps up, that kind of takes away from like my attention too. Because when you're in fantasy and you're doing, changes every week and you're maintaining the top status for years in fantasy, takes a lot out of you. You can't really like just go all into fantasy and then betting and fantasy and betting, and then a lot of times you have conflict of interest. And in those situations, I hate conflict of interest, because there's only so much things you could do on your fantasy team, but then when it comes to betting, you can do anything you want. So if you have a player on your fantasy team that you really don't have a choice but to start them, it can really mess you up on your bets. But yeah. What kind of websites do you use? You asked me this before the game. Let's change the subject. Websites. I went 1-1. You went 0-2. What kind of websites do you use for your betting? You keep talking about research, and what kind of research does Vinny with a IE do?
So I mean, there's too many to list. I'm kind of on the spot here, but one of the websites I use, it's called teamrankings.com. So it's where I got the statistics for the best first half teams, best second half teams. They actually have a lot of different stats that they track, and they're pretty good. And you can always go to the team websites on the, like, specifically with NFL, you can go to like NFL.com and you can look at the team's website, and obviously the team is reporting whatever the NFL is reporting, so it's accurate.
How many different websites do you use, dude?
To be honest, I stopped track. Like, I feel like data, you need a lot of it. And other people may have different philosophies and may have a couple trusted sources, but in my experience, the more the better, because it gives you a different perspective. And that different perspective may have you being the contrarian on the right day. You could be a contrarian on a +600, a +700. I've given out those in the Discord as well for PGA Tour.
It's definitely, something that can lead you into a situation that you didn't know about. But like, I don't know. Sometimes too much information can be a bad thing.
I take everything with a grain of salt. I don't put too much value in one particular site's information or the other. I was just answering your question, what kind of sites do I use? That's one of the sites that I was on that I use today. But there's other sites. There's many sites, and you decide. If you're out there, you're betting right now, whatever it is that you're doing, even if it comes
I don't
to
use sites. I don't like using the sites.
Stocks. Oh, you go to the library, you get books.
No, I don't like using books or sites. You know what? Because I think that ultimately any information that you can get out of a lot of that stuff's already there. It's already, whatever you can call it, baked in. Like,
So where do you get this information then? If you're not getting it from websites, if you're not getting it from books,
well, it depends. If you're looking for like a player prop, that's different. If you're looking for points, then
so where would you go to look for?
Well, if you're looking for if you're looking for a player prop and you're looking specifically, you got this, this target on a specific point player prop. Well, then obviously you want to just use, a regular like I would use ESPN. And you would want to look at the players as a whole for his statistics. But like,
I like ESPN.
Other than that, like any other type of websites, is like, whether it's spreads or totals, it's I don't know, man. It's kind of like they can't give you any more information than what's already given to you within the total. Like if you're looking at a total or you're looking at a spread and you can't decipher why, like I said, a short line, like. I thought Romeo Dobbs was definitely a short line. Like, I watched the game. He was not going to get over 28.5 yards. Like, they were not throwing to this guy. Christian Watson got hurt, right?
That's my boy.
So like, I didn't need a website to tell me, oh, Romeo Dobbs was a good one or a bad one. Like, I knew from the get-go it was a bad one. And because I had seen the game before, I told myself it wasn't, and it turned out to be a good one, but only because Christian Watson got hurt. So it is kind of it goes both ways, man. But looking at websites, I don't try to look at websites too much. Like if you're looking at like percentages of bets and percentages of if you're looking at money and how many bets from certain websites, like how can those websites take into account what everyone is doing, all the different books, and there's no central database. It's not like people think that like when you get killed, that like your fingerprint goes in some central database. It doesn't work like that. Like it goes into all these different databases, and they have to search all these different databases. Like, so it's not like all centralized as people would assume, or what I believe people would assume would be kind of a centralized. Like, oh, look at all these bets, they're on this one, or look at these books are all kind of separate. You know what I'm saying? They're all a little different, and like they don't really like, I don't think they taken it like the next one book doesn't care about the next book, and they're not given the accurate amount of data. You know what I'm saying? But
I understand what you're saying. Where do you get your information from then?
Oh, I would rather look at the book, and I'd rather look at like just pure stats if I'm looking at ESPN for player props or something like that.
So you use the web.
Go with the flow.
So you use the web a lot. No library.
You're
not getting the book, the NFL reference book that would be in the library.
No.
Okay.
No.
You're not getting an atlas to find out the geographical location.
No. Hey, so last time we talked, man, SBF, brother, he was arrested, right? That happened when you were here? He was arrested?
Yeah, actually, I like this topic because, I don't like obviously the outcome, but I like the fact that finally some criminals are finally getting exposed, because in 3 different episodes now, I think we've kind of touched on this topic.
Yeah. But he's already released on bail.
Whoa! Newsflash for those who didn't know. He is released, and where's he at?
I don't know, man. Where's he at? He's at his mom's house.
That's what I heard too. I heard that he had that was part of the terms of his release on bail. Again, it looks like they his parents put their house up as collateral. They were able to bond their son out, like most parents, loving parents. If they had it, they would.
Oh, I think the parents are going to go to jail too.
That it's a possibility. I mean, I haven't thought about
father.
that. I don't know. And if you know more, please indulge because I'm all ears. I love information like this, and I love to soak it in. Do you know anything about the father?
Well, currently the father has tons of voided bets that he wants back from the book. He's got to make bail for his son. So yeah, he's the guy who needs all these voided bets. He bet Devin Booker and Derwin James. Tough luck for that guy.
Yeah, he had more. He had the tackles over. He had the tackles over prop. He was one tackle away, and he got ejected. Dang it.
But that's pretty much it for today, man. I don't know. It was kind of a slow week, but we got the void.